One more project south of the Midway, so going back south of the Midway. This an existing building, one of those mid-century modern masterpieces. Edward Durrell Stone, or maybe arguably masterpiece, I should say. Edward Durrell Stone was the architect for this, 1962, and he actually admits in his memoirs that when the University of Chicago contacted him to do a project on our campus, he had just completed the U.S. Embassy in Delhi, this major commission that and several other significant projects really put him on the map. And so what he basically admits is he took the drawings out of the flat file, changed a few things, and handed it to the University of Chicago. So what our legacy from Edward Durrell Stone is this large overhanging cornice to keep out the harsh Delhi sunlight. And it's raised on a plinth, that's what this is, from the street. In India, you can go and park underneath there to have some cool breeze below the building itself. Here it's just kind of foreboding, it's off-putting. So there's I happen to think that there's a monumentality, there's a presence that this building has. There is some architectural significance to it. It creates this grand address on the Midway. But what it also does, I think, is it can be very off-putting. It's too monumental. Like you have to go, you almost feel like you have to be in a suit to go there, I think, and it's this axial center entrance. And so as we've conceived of a new life for this building as the new home for the Harris School of Public Policy Studies, we've started to look at how could we keep what is wonderful about it, but really fundamentally change what's not so wonderful about it. Here's a rendering of what that might look like very early in conceptual design. But it's basically, so this is from the Midway looking to the southeast. And so that plinth that separates it from its surroundings, it's actually a basement that if you were to carve out some of the landscape between it and the sidewalk of 60th Street, you could open that up. And maybe that's a glassy cafe that is another meeting point for folks both within the building and others south of the Midway. We also, we're looking at, as we renovate old buildings, and certainly as we build new, how can we make them universally accessible? So there's ADA code, which says you need to make everything accessible. Universal accessibility goes another step, literally, and says there shouldn't be a difference in experience. So this is a ramp that's just ever so slightly sloped that basically is a new way in addition to and next to the central stairs of the building. And then we thought, well, Logan has been pretty successful, we think, in terms of a visible destination south of the Midway. Could we add a penthouse to this glassy penthouse that could be meeting rooms, conference space, that would be another visible destination for the whole campus, not just south of the Midway. So that's how, insight to how we're thinking about design principles applied to new buildings as well as existing. I've included a couple of model shots. This is dreaming, but it's to give some sense. If you look at this model, the buildings in gray are those that don't exist. It's really just kind of placeholders that suggest if we really used our land south of the Midway wisely and in key locations built tall like we did with Logan, not uniformly, but in key locations, we could create a significant critical mass and a sense of unified campus both across the Midway and to the buildings within the south side of the Midway, so that we can really envision, this represents another 3 to 4 million square feet that could be built out over the next how many decades to really create a meaningful connection north and south. And then similarly, a model looking over Washington Park of the medical complex, the physical sciences, to suggest how we could, instead of turning our backs to Washington Park, really see that as an important presence and entrance into our campus.